Hey, welcome back to the stream. I'm Father Roderick, and I am still alive. Don't ask how. We're going to wait for some people to enter the chat. Maybe that may take a while, actually. In the meantime, I'm very well aware that the audio is pretty terrible. I'm using the built-in microphone of the Mac right now, the little MacBook Air. When I have some more people in the chat, I can ask for some feedback. Hey, that guy, 51. Because I can also use the webcam, which is right here, for the audio, but I'm not sure if that's going to be better. Hello, the gaming politician. I am here, yes. It's quite late here in the Netherlands. It is now 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday evening. But I miss you guys. So I just wanted to go online and chat a little bit. And in case you don't know what has been going on, I know that not all of you are following me on other social media. So I thought it was time to get back online. In the meantime, we're going to build something. This is what we're going to build. It is a small Lord of the Rings Lego set featuring one of the dramatic scenes from the Lord of the Rings, which is the confrontation between Gandalf and Saruman, and Gandalf the Grey and Saruman the White, which would imply that he's a good guy. But as you know, that was no longer the case. Hey Marco, hey Salix and Lars, how am I feeling today? I've had a very, very rough week. Right now it's quite alright. I have a bit of a headache and of course I've got the pain in the lower part of my body, let's put it that way. But I'm okay. So I think I can even do a little bit of Legoing. I can't sit for extended periods of time, so these won't be very long sessions, but I can do a little bit. And I can always chat, right? So let me switch to the main camera, which is this one. And here you can see the pieces. You can also tell that it is a relatively small set. And it has mostly black and gray pieces. It's got some very cool exclusive pieces. This one is a very special one. It is the Eye of Sauron. And that's going to be part of the Palantir that Saruman has in his possession, which is, of course, a very powerful device to look around in Middle-earth, but also enables the Dark Lord Sauron to look back at you. So it's kind of a two-way babysitter phone or baby phone or something like that. This man can't catch a break. Hey, I just wanted to have a chat with all of you. Hey Luna, welcome back. Hey Jonathan, hey Chin. One does not simply build a Saruman versus Gandalf set. No, you have to do the voices with that. Arwen has been wondering where I've been. Yes, I explained earlier on that not everyone is following me on Facebook or Twitter. I've been very sick. Actually, I don't recall having been this sick for at least 10 years, if not more. I'm still sick. Technically, so I'm under medication and painkillers, and I'll tell you all about it, but first we need to start building something. Fortunately, Saruman is already completely built. I'm getting closer to the, of course the camera won't focus, but anyway, this is real Lego, so he looks awesome. A little bit of gray in his beard. He's got his staff. And then, of course, his nemesis is also there. A much more humble attire. Gandalf, he doesn't even have a cape. It's kind of surprising. Maybe oops, let him face the camera. Maybe they took it from him when he was imprisoned in Orthanc. That's the place where he is. Hey, Mike. Hello, Lord of the Lego. It is the Wizard Battle set, yes. Hey, Diana. First time on the chats. Very cool. All right, well, welcome. This is live. Disney Plus, still good? Yes, awesome. Yesterday, I watched one of my favorite science fiction movies from the olden days, The Black Hole. And boy, is it grainy. But it is one of the only sources in the world where you can watch The Black Hole at all, because there's no Blu-ray. Where there may be one, but hard to get. Don't think there's, well, there may be a DVD somewhere. All of the transfers are pretty bad. And there was, I don't think there was an HD version. So this is a movie that I think is awesome, but it is in dire need of a restoration. So I was happy to find that. Didn't have much time to watch TV, by the way, because I was so sick. So just a recap for those of you that don't know what's going on. Exactly 1 week ago, I was filming in the south of the country. And towards the end of the day, I'm starting to feel really, really queasy. At that moment, I'm thinking this may be the flu. I had a cold the days before, so I figured it's probably just the next stage. But it was also kind of weird feeling in my stomach. But I went home, and then that night it started to really, already deteriorate. And the next morning, that was a Sunday, I had to say Mass in 2 locations, and I barely made it until the end of the Mass, and that's when I knew that something was wrong. The rest of the Sunday I've been in bed. The fever just spiked and went higher and higher, and I started to see blood in my urine and having pain while trying to pee. Sorry for the graphic details. That's when I knew that it was probably a kidney stone, because I've been suffering from kidney stones in the past, and what happens is sometimes a kidney stone will get out of the kidney, will be pushed out by the kidney, since it's still kind of something that doesn't belong there. And it's called a stone, but it actually is much more like a crystal with very, very sharp edges. They're razor blade sharp. And so, you know what? I'm going to turn off this lamp here for a moment, because it's really very bright. The edges of the crystal are so sharp that it damages the bladder when it ends up in the bladder. Now, normally when it's in the bladder, usually the problems are over, because it is usually very hard for a kidney stone to leave the kidney itself. But then the rest of the plumbing, let's put it that way, it has more space. Now I'm going to turn on the lights again, otherwise it's so dark. So normally it can leave the body quite quickly. However, there are exceptions, and in my case, I was one of the lucky people to suffer complications, and so the kidney stone caused so much damage in the bladder that I got an infection, a bladder infection, which explained the high fever. But the thing is, a bladder infection can be dangerous, certainly dangerous if untreated, but it can also very quickly evolve into what they call sepsis. Sepsis is basically blood poisoning. That can kill you in a matter of hours. So you gotta imagine, I'm here alone in the rectory. It's a Sunday night. I have a fever that approaches 39.5, 40 degrees Celsius. That's pretty high. And I am not sure if the kidney stone is still there. My heart is racing. I've got a heartbeat of 100 beats per second, which is very high for me. I'm a runner, so my normal heartbeat is around 55 or something like that. 100, and that's one of the symptoms of sepsis. Plus, I knew that I had to check my blood pressure. So I was literally standing at this very table with my blood pressure machine and trying to check. At least that was normal, so that was an indication that was okay. But the fever was just completely out of control. And I was like, what am I going to do? One of the phases in blood poisoning is that you lose conscience or you enter a delirium. In both cases, I don't think you're able to call an ambulance. So I was praying like crazy. I was really afraid. I was like, what? Well, what if it is sepsis? Because I'd never been this sick, at least in terms of fever. Fortunately, I made it through the night. And then the next day, I went to see the doctor, my regular physician. She immediately, well, actually, I called them up. At first, I was like, I'm not really sure, but I think it's this and that. And then, and this was towards the end of the day. So we're almost closing. And then the doctor said, I really want to check your urine right now. So can you get that to me in, let's say, 15, 20 minutes? So that was a bit alarming, the fact that they took it so seriously. So I had someone bring it over. And then I was called back like 10 minutes later. It's like, you have to come here. So I was like, I am super sick. I feel terrible. I can barely walk. So I jumped in the car because that was the only option. The weather was terrible. I didn't know who else to call. I figured a taxi would take way too much time to get me there. It was also rush hour. So I raced to the doctor. She's still there waiting for me, even though the entire building is already closed. And she calls the hospital, and it's like, well, back and forth. It's like, I don't trust it. What are we going to do? These are the symptoms. And the other urologist thinks about it, and he says, well, just put him on antibiotics for now. And hold on. It's something strange that I have to do. I'm going to put this in here. This is a little tray. Okay, there you go. What else I need to do? Then this needs to go here. So, and then the urologist says, he has to be at the hospital at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning because I want to take an extra look. I don't trust it. So that's what I did. Another horrible night. Really, I could barely sleep. That's how hot I was and miserable. And every time I go to the toilet, it's a horror movie. There's just so much blood in the urine and everything. Oh, and it hurts because of the infection. And so the next morning at the hospital, they take my blood, again, urine sample. They analyze everything. They make a CT scan, which is normally not something that's very expensive as a procedure, so they don't do that. And by the way, the hospital immediately upgraded me to emergency room. So anyway, after they have analyzed everything, I have a talk with the urologist, and she tells me that it is what they call a complicated infection. So it's like, I think, the next grade after a regular bladder infection. Good news was all the stones are gone. The CT scan doesn't show any sign of stones anymore, so that's a relief. It means no future episodes, at least not anytime soon. And kind of my theory that the infection had caused the bladder to bleed, etc. That was the case. So I get different antibiotics, much stronger. I have to take them for 2 weeks. And she tells me, just take as much rest as you can. And I really mean physical rest. So no walking, no work. So I stayed at home. I stayed home this entire week. I couldn't stand for a couple of days, so I couldn't like sitting what I'm doing right now. I couldn't do it; it hurt too much. So a lot of my friends were like, "Oh, great! You can watch Disney Plus for 5 days." Like, no, dude, I wish I could, but I can't even sit in the chair. I have to really lay flat on my back. That's the only way to diminish the pain. So Disney Plus, this would have been such a great occasion to watch it, but alas, didn't work. So, but then, situation does not improve at all. In fact, I'm feeling worse, and the fever doesn't go away, the blood in the urine doesn't go away, and I have this excruciating pain in my lower parts. And that's when I discover that it's actually not just the bladder that is infected, but also, this is not for kids, by the way, but we're all grown up, right? One of the testicles was also infected, which is all connected, of course, through the glands. The glands themselves were also swollen up, and I mean, that is scary. I'm a priest, so I live a sedentary life, so it's equipment that I normally don't really need, but it can still break. And oh my goodness, I can't and won't describe the pain that causes. Because I was, this was definitely different and something new compared to the, how do you say that? The analysis that the doctor made on Wednesday. I called them up. Was it this morning? Or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Today's Saturday, right? Yeah, it was Friday. On Friday, I called the hospital, get a different doctor, and I tell him, this is what's going on, etc. And he's like, okay, yeah, this is going to take longer than we initially thought. The good news is I have the right medication, so the antibiotics that I have are targeting a specific bacteria that is causing the infection. They detected that through the blood analysis. So I have to just keep taking those. But he said that the problem is, you're kind of out of luck because let's say the lower tissue, it's no longer just the bladder. The bladder would probably quickly get better after you start the antibiotics, but it's different with the testicles. It's got deeper tissue. It takes longer for the blood to reach the entire tissue. So he's like, you're probably going to be busy with this for a couple of weeks. And in the meantime, I want to see you. You have to come back here on Tuesday, and we'll check and we'll see, especially because the bleeding still continued. Now, fortunately, that has diminished a little bit today, so thank goodness. But yeah, he was like, we're gonna follow this, and you made the right call to call us because you don't want to take any risks with infections like this. And but then, of course, like the problem of this entire situation is, I like doing stuff. I like gaming and I like working. I like making TV. I like recording podcasts. But that all requires action. That requires me to do stuff, which is, like mentally, like the upper half of me. I'm like C-3PO, when he falls down. What is it? At one point, C-3PO is like loses part of his body. That's how I feel. Like the upper part works fine, and it's just everything below the navel that is completely haywire. That went haywire. But so you want to do a lot of stuff, and at the same time, you know that physically you can't and you shouldn't. So that is for me the hardest part. So today, this little chat and a little bit of Lego, for me that is just giving in. I just wanted to do at least something. I miss you guys. I miss these sessions, these Lego sessions. It's always so much fun. So that is why at 11 o'clock at night I'm still doing this. I did, however, have to cancel Mass tomorrow. I did celebrate Mass tonight here because the church is next door. So I figured, even if I faint during Mass, they could still put me in bed. But for the other Mass tomorrow, I would have to drive by car, and I have pretty strong medication, also painkillers, and it's just not safe to drive. Plus, I don't think I could do another Mass tonight. It was already pretty... it was tough. I have no idea why I'm building this rotating lever. Maybe it's a trap. It's a trap. All right, so that's what's going on in my life. What's going on in your life? Let me go through your comments here. Hey, Dr. Mabooze. Yeah, I'm happy to be smiling. I have been smiling and making jokes most of the week. That's my weapon. I think I inherited that from my father. The more pain you have, the more jokes you have to make about it. Hey Arnold, Samuel, risen, well, half risen, right? Frank the Tank, so you have chosen death. And the Real Sugar from Chicago. Ooh, Lars bought Doku's Solar Sailor. Really? Sweet, is that an ancient set? Helen says, Father Roderick, I didn't know that Jesus had brothers and sisters. You may refer to the brothers and sisters in the Gospel. That was actually a term that was also used for cousins or nephews and nieces. So that is what is meant in those passages. Hey, Richard. A question, did you see the news about Bob Iger confessing that he betrayed George Lucas when he bought Lucasfilm? What's my take on it? Oh yeah, well, George Lucas, stop whining. They paid you, and your ideas for the sequels were terrible. I should do that in a Jar Jar voice, probably. No, is it Jar Jar? Or no, it's the boss from Gunga City. It was like terrible. I mean, really, what was it, like, miniature world with the wheels that were... Come on, give me a break. It was worse than the midi-chlorians. Oh, no. I totally think that they did the right thing and just throw that in the bin. No. Thank goodness that George didn't make the sequels. I think that everybody would love The Last Jedi if they'd seen George Lucas's version. Anyway, that's my take. What do I do with Lego sets after putting them together? Most of them I put on display. I have a special project for this one. I'm going to modify this set. Once I've built the main set, I'm going to build it up into a small miniature version of the Tower of Orthanc. So I don't think that Disney did anything wrong to Star Wars. I like their direction. I love what they do with Disney Plus. So yeah, without Disney, we probably wouldn't have had Star Wars, or it would have turned into some crazy George Lucas project, and we would be mourning the loss of Star Wars forever. No. I've been rewatching the prequels on Disney Plus. Golly, they're bad. I used to appreciate them more or less, but God, didn't age well, especially the second movie, The Attack of the Clones. My goodness, the writing is so terrible. Oh man. Even the worst moment in The Last Jedi is better than the best moment of the prequels. There you have it. Except for, hello there. This may be the medication that gives me these strong opinions. So, disclaimer. Don't hold it against me. Yeah, the crystal stones are terrible. They look so innocent on the Echo, and then you see them for real, and they look like deadly ninja weapons, which is what they are. Hey, Milky Way, all the way from Argentina, beautiful Argentine. ¿Qué tal? Why do good people like Father Roderick get these painful, awful sicknesses, while evil people like Kim Jong-un continue to walk the planet? Hey, the gospel of this Sunday is about that. I just preached about it. So Jesus tells a story of this poor man, the beggar, who is sitting at the entrance to the castle of this very wealthy rich man who is organizing one party after another. And even though the poor man would love to have had maybe the scraps from the table of the rich man, nobody gave it to him. And the only company he had were the dogs that were licking his wounds. But then, both the rich guy, who is nameless, which is kind of interesting, and the poor man, who's called Lazarus, die. And the rich guy has this sumptuous, beautiful funeral and ends up in hell. And he's totally shocked. Whereas the poor Lazarus is carried by angels into the arms of Abraham, the archfather Abraham. And then the rich man is like, hey, he talks to Abraham. He's just still being the petulant rich guy. Tell Lazarus to bring me some water. And then he basically gets the explanation that there is now a gap between his place, the place of suffering, and the place of those that have been rescued by God, the poor, that have suffered. And there is no way to bridge that gap, even if they wanted to. So basically, the gist of the story is, first of all, God takes care of the poor. And even though they suffer here on earth, it doesn't mean that God has forgotten them. And there's also something like retribution or kind of justice. I say balance of the force, maybe. No, there's justice also after this life. And so the poor will be consoled and God will save them. By the way, the name Lazarus comes from El Lazarus in Hebrew, which means God will help him. And that's what happens in the story. And so the rich guy basically learns that he has run out of time. If he wanted to be saved by God, he should have acted. He should have done the right thing with his wealth instead of only spending it on himself. And if you keep postponing that, or if you don't do that in this life, then there is basically no do-over in heaven or in the afterlife. So it's all, Jesus really, I think, emphasizes the urgency of living in the here and now and making the right choices now, especially when it comes to helping the poor. And that reminded me, this is kind of my entire homily, that reminded me of what happened at the UN Climate Summit with Greta Thunberg from, she's from Sweden, right? Or is it Finland? No, I'm confused. Anyway, basically her scorching, very angry talk said the same thing. It's like, you guys are here, and you look at us as for hope, right? The new generation will fix it. But that's not fair, because it's up to you to act now. You are just thinking about your wallet and the economy, and at the same time, you leave us with a destroyed Earth. And I think she was totally on the money with that, literally on the money. Uh, and it had that same sense of urgency, that I hear. And so, if you ask me, why does bad stuff happen to good people? I'd say, I'm missing pieces. I'm missing a lot of pieces. Is there a second bag? Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm missing a lot of gray pieces here. And we have some spare ones. Anyway, so, but the urgency is something, no, I was talking about, so, it doesn't mean, sometimes God will allow bad things to happen, because his plan is always bigger than our plan. But it doesn't mean that the wicked will get away with it. There's always his justice at the end of our lives and at the end of history. So, yeah, that's it. And of course, well, there's always, you can always offer it up, literally. I always realize that, sure, it was not fun. I was in a lot of pain. But there are people that live in much more difficult situations than I do. So, I always try to kind of stay in this upbeat or positive mindset. It could have been much worse. I could have died. So, hey, I'm alive. Yeah, I'm in pain, but I'm alive, and I'm streaming, and I'm building a cool Lego set. So, there you go. It was pretty scary, yes. Yeah. I did not buy Bob Iger's book. No, I don't have time. I have so many other books that I want to read. Yes, everything, the testicle, the bladder, it will all heal, once the what is it, the antibiotics will kill the bacteria. It will take a while, but as I mentioned before, for a priest, it's pretty non-essential material anyway. Okay. I don't know what happened to the other gray pieces. Hey, Ron. Good to see you. Hey, Jeremy. Jeremy says, my 102-year-old great aunt was just given her last rites. This is a welcome distraction. Oh, that must have been a difficult moment for all of you. I hope she will be able to die in peace, surrounded by people who love her. Hey, Shaky Channel from Scotland. Have you seen the haters celebrate that George Lucas said he wasn't happy with the Disney Star Wars movie? Ugh. Those haters would also really, really, really hate what George Lucas would have done. And basically, the haters are the reason that George Lucas got rid of Star Wars. He just was so fed up with all the criticism. So, my advice is always, totally ignore the haters. It's a dark side. Don't give in to it. Don't give them your time. It's not worth it. Don't let other people tell you what to enjoy. It's not important. Alrighty. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely missing like half of this set. There's got to be a second bag. Let me go. We were in Crookham, Northumberland for a coffee morning. Very good. Very, very good. Oh, Boss Nas, yeah. Oh, I'm very far behind on the comments. Sorry about that. No shaming the prequels. Yeah, but just objectively, they're not very good. They're certainly not as good as the original trilogy. And I think that the sequels are actually also better than the prequels. We don't know much about the age of Mary, of the Virgin Mary. She was probably young. All that matters if you have, say, you have speedy recovery. Yeah, I hope so too. Lord of the Rings, yes, it is Lord of the Rings. Okay, let me go and take a look in the closet here behind me. Now again, this is a second-hand set, so. I thought I had everything. This is a different set, I think. Yeah, this is some kind of Star Wars X-Wing fighter. What I think is that I pre-sorted it. Maybe not. I do have a lot of gray stuff, leftover stuff from the the Falcon. No, not yeah, the Falcon. But none of that is in the right color, I think. Oh boy. Yeah, no. I don't think it's here. I opened one bag. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah, that's where the problem starts. I'm going to try to sit down and... Ow. There's only one bag. It says one. So I don't know what happened. Let me check. Of course, I can always go back to the shop and say, hey, the problem is I bought this like 3 months ago. I should have checked all the pieces, maybe. But since he's a very reputable guy, I figured. Just looking at the list of here at the back in the Lego manuals, you always have the part count, so you can check how much you should have of certain things. So I should have 2 of these. Well, that's okay. Oh, some more missing. Yep, I don't have any of these. These are missing. This is here. You've seen that. This. 2 of these. I've got 1. Just my luck. Should probably just stick with real sets. 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's okay. Should have 4 of these triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, and what about the news that Kevin Feige is going to direct a Star Wars movie? That's got me all excited. Oh, need 1 of these. Yikes, that one is missing too. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh boy. That one's not there either. Oh man. Should have, no, there are two of these. Okay, that's okay. 14 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is here. Okay, let's hope it's enough. 2 of these. Yep, 1 black tile. It's there. 2 of these round things. 1 of these. Yeah, all that is there, I guess. 1 rod, a black rod. Oh, that's there. Yeah, that one is there. That one. This one is here. This one's here. This one's here. This one is there. That. Yep. That, and then here is where the problem starts, because I only have 3 of these instead of 4. I don't have any of these. I think I have all of this and this. And 1. Yeah, well that's, so it's mostly the gray stuff. This one is going to be hard. These are rare. And then you see this? This one is not supposed to be in this set. So what I think is the guy who sold this second-hand set to the store just basically sold the store an incomplete set, and put this in there probably for the count. So I think that the store was actually betrayed. That is, well, I guess I can still fix it, because these 2x2s are pretty common. So and I'm still glad that at least the rare parts like the Eye of Sauron and these 2 are still here. Let me see one of these. Oh, that of course is for the Palantir, so that goes over this one. Yeah. I have one set that actually has these dark gray pieces. I'd have to cannibalize another set. Ouch. I shouldn't move so much. The prequels have great music, I concur. And sometimes even better, I think, than the original trilogy. Did you hear about that person doing the Lord of the Rings TV series wants to make Gandalf a female? Yeah, that's bogus. That is bogus. Huh. They just want to rile up everyone. Hey, what is it? Razgriz? Razgriz. Discovered you last week, found your book at the bookstore while on retreat. Cool. Wow. It's pretty rare nowadays. Do you think that Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson are out? No. They'll continue. So Feige has said, I already have a well-known actor that I want to involve in this movie of mine. And I've been wondering, who could it be? My first thought was Samuel L. Jackson, who's always said, I wouldn't mind coming back. Of course, he was killed by Palpatine, or so we think. But since Palpatine returns in Episode 9, they can probably figure out a way to revive his Mace Windu. So that would be cool. Somehow I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm thinking, well, what if it were maybe a great female character? We haven't had... Well, we did have Rogue One, which was kind of more or less about female protagonist. Although I'm thinking maybe a movie about Mara Jade or something like that, or one of the. I don't know. Or what about Keanu Reeves? Who would like to see Keanu Reeves in a Star Wars movie? Raise your hand. He's been in The Last Samurai. Okay, well, I'm not going to find that. If it's okay with you guys, I'm going to look for the missing parts tomorrow when I'm a little bit less tired. So, but I think you could do a great, like, I don't know, ancient history of the Jedi with Keanu Reeves. I wouldn't mind. What's the hissing sound? It is my laptop. It has a fever. Brie Larson, she's a Star Wars fan, but nah, don't think so. Chris Evans wants to be in Star Wars. Maybe. I mean, he's done with the Avengers, so perhaps. Keanu, maybe not the right actor for a Star Wars film. Maybe. Whoa. Whoa, you're saying a lot. Brie Larson, well, as an actress, she's fine. It's just in a lot of her media appearances, she wasn't very sympathetic. At least that's what I heard. I didn't follow it that much. I kind of liked Captain Marvel, although not revolutionary. It was. I think they hope to have like their own Marvel version of Wonder Woman, but no, that wasn't it. So, but I thought make a sequel to Captain Marvel. They want to focus on keeping her, I think, in the MCU, and then just get another one. I don't know. We'll see. But it's intriguing. There's a lot happening in Star Wars, and if it weren't for Disney, for the Disney takeover, we'd only have these really, really, really weird sequels that George Lucas was talking about. And actually, we wouldn't have those because George Lucas is so burned out. I don't think he would have ever made them. So, look at the bright side. With Disney, sure, there's a lot to improve, but at least we have new Star Wars. And for me, that's all that matters. Hey, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you so much. It was fun talking to you. Sorry I wasn't able to completely finish the build. There's a lot of Lego waiting for us to build. Bigger, very, very big projects. One is the London Tower Bridge that I'm going to completely disassemble and turn into a modular museum. That is one that I'm absolutely looking forward to. That's going to be probably a 2 or 3 week project. I need to be a little bit more fit. I just wanted to take some time to reconnect with you all because, well, hey, I miss you. So have a very good Sunday. Hope you all stay healthy, and you'll see me pop up on YouTube one of these days. Hopefully no more complications. I think I've had enough of that. All right, take care, and thanks for stopping by.